Club. I'm Felicia Michaels.
And I'm Jessica Wellington.
And what we do here at the Liars Club is we have two of our comedy pals come on. We ask them to tell two stories. One is the truth and one is a lie. And then we try to figure out which one of your stories is a lie. And we do it along the side of our many listeners on YouTube who actually like playing along. By the way, if you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify, know that we do go live on the Comedy Store's YouTube page on Mondays at 4:30 and most Fridays at 8:30 like tonight. And you can catch us live. It's been a lot of fun to meet people online. People have come to our gigs. It's been kind of cool, right?
It's really cool. Ken's coming to Portland to see us, too.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. With us today, we have Austin Walker, our on-air producer. Austin, would you mind shouting out where people could leave reviews after they watch the show and all that?
Anywhere you stream podcasts, you can leave reviews, but please subscribe to our YouTube. That's the most important thing. Got to get them numbers up. And our Instagram, of course, which is the Liars Club 1, and our Twitter, Liars_Club. Please follow us there and come see us in the Belly Room September 25th.
Yes, please do that. And I'd like to give a shout out to our biggest fan. Is it Norway or Sweden?
Oh, in Sweden.
In Sweden,
Oh,
yes.
shit, Cal.
Yes.
Cal's our boy.
Yes.
We just found out that we are very popular in Sweden. So
Yes.
if anybody wants to go there, we're probably on the tourism board now and stuff.
Something's going down for us.
I think they made Felicia the queen. It's really big in Sweden.
Aw. So anyway, will you introduce our guest, Jessica?
I would love to. This lovely lady to my left is a paid regular here at the Comedy Store. Just happened not long ago. And she made her late-night debut on Comedy Central.
How
And it
about
was
that?
Hilarious.
Within a couple of months, two things like that happening is pretty amazing.
Yes, and this is
Thank you.
Laura Beitz.
Welcome to the show, Laura. Yay.
Lara.
Lara.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. You just have to say it right.
Oh, God, I love you already. Get on her.
And over here across from us, I didn't know she was in Spider-Man. That's pretty fucking cool. And she's been on all over the TV, The Parkers, Raising Hope, and Last Comic Standing. Pretty much any stand-up show that's been on TV, this woman's been on it. And she's all over the Sirius radio. I hear her all the time. This is Alycia Cooper.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the show,
This is
Alycia
wonderful.
Cooper.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, two of you guys, two killers on the show tonight. I love it. I love it. So, just so you know, we will be asking questions. Don't get terrified. If you feel like you're giving it up, don't give it up. Like if you feel like we're on you and you're like, no, I confess, don't do that.
I'm going to give it up.
Okay.
I'm the worst liar ever.
Do not confess until the end. So just
Okay.
even if you get mixed up with your lies or whatever, just own it until the end. Because if you don't, then it's not fun.
Yeah, because Jessica becomes the biggest bitch ever.
Okay. All right. Just go on.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead and start? And by the way, I would love to give a shout out to our other on-air producer, Mr. Michael Evans in the booth. Say hi to the people, Michael.
Hi, people.
There you go.
See, he has a camera. It flips to him.
Yeah, there you
Love
go.
it.
That's me on the camera right now.
Technology is awesome.
Then we just all awkwardly stare at the camera and hear it.
Yes. All right, so let's kick it off. And Lara, why don't you start?
Okay.
I said it right?
I have my first stepmom was named Laurie.
My stepmom,
so did
ex-stepmom now.
I
as
give you
well.
a post-traumatic little thing
Well,
there
she
when I
did
corrected
adopt
you?
me and then leave.
Oh,
Oh,
that-
fuck. This isn't about
That's
you.
great
I
for
said
comedy.
she's going to start her story.
great for
Fucking move
comedy.
on, Jessica.
Did she leave you because you said her name wrong?
Because that's fair.
Did you call her Lori? Because then I could see.
I mean, I really don't know if she likes it Laurie or Lori.
You don't know?
Well,
Yeah.
it's spelled L-A, so I think that's Laurie.
Yeah,
Maybe,
that's-
is it Larry? Is
Laura.
Laura a girlfriend of
Sounds
Larry?
like seasoning salt.
Hell
Larry
yeah.
seasoning.
L-A-U-R-I-E.
Oh, that's Lori.
Laurie.
Well,
yeah.
wouldn't Lori be L-O-R-I?
No, yeah, if you're
Lori.
in England and you want to get a cab, yeah, or whatever.
Box truck.
So my name is L-A-R-A. It's not L-A-U-R-A.
That's Lara.
Yeah, my stepmom, L-A-U-R-A. That's Laura.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were they
Yeah.
misspelling it on the lineups for a bit?
I mean, sometimes they do.
Yeah, okay.
And people
Okay,
say
so
it
it's
wrong
not
all the
Jessica's
time.
fault. It's not Jessica's fault.
Here, I don't think they have ever typed it out wrong.
Okay, it's
on the
Jessica's
lineup.
fault.
I mean, it's an
Come on,
unusual name, you know.
Yeah.
And I have
Laura.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Lara, get on your fucking story.
Isn't there a Lara
A
Trump?
little bit hurtful when you say it
Oh.
sarcastically.
Isn't there a Lara
and
Trump?
Yes, there is, and
Yeah.
I don't care to discuss it.
Yeah, I knew you had some
Which
Trump-like
one do you guys want
qualities.
first? You want
No,
the true
you
one or
don't.
you want the lie?
That's not how it works. You
should
have to
tell us.
decide because we
Okay.
have to be
I was
completely
kidding, 'cause
surprised.
obviously, how
Okay.
could that
We
would
want to
work?
know what
Okay.
it feels like to be a Trump.
Little joke, tiny one. Okay, we'll get serious. My first story I'm going to tell you sucks to tell. I'm going to get it out of the way. Okay, so I was
Oh fuck, she's good at this game. Oh shit.
I was engaged. I was with someone for like 4 years when I lived in Fix it, mommy. When I lived in Wisconsin. And we moved to Philadelphia together. We moved back to Wisconsin together. We were together for a long time. It was my longest relationship. And he proposed to me, and I said yes. And we were engaged for a
Where did
few
he
months.
propose?
He proposed in our apartment.
Oh, fancy.
What
Yeah.
state?
He didn't have a
Wisconsin.
ring either.
Nothing?
Nothing.
So what were you just like
That's real
watching The
love.
Bachelor, and then he was like, "This is the time."
No, actually, we broke up, and while we were broken up, he came back to our shared apartment and proposed to me. And I said yes, because I was young and a moron and had no sense of self-worth. And we were engaged for a few months, and then I found out that he had been sleeping with someone else like the whole time, and for like a
Wow.
lot of our relationship too. And it was someone who was in like our circle of friends,
Oh, that's
like
always
to
the
where
case.
it's insane that I didn't know.
Was it your best friend?
It wasn't my best friend. It was the friend of someone who was a good friend of mine. Yeah. But it was like someone I saw around. It was someone who would like talk to me and was always really nice to me. And I still like don't know where she got the audacity to like be as friendly to me as she was. But he never admitted it. And I found out from a friend who found out from her. But the stuff that like they knew was stuff that like she couldn't have known. I mean, it just became very clear that it
Mhm.
was true. And so I ended that relationship and
How long were you engaged for?
a few months.
Yeah.
And he got married to someone else and is married now. And I mean, I haven't blocked on everything now, but last I saw he was like happily married, still living in
But with a-
Milwaukee.
A totally different woman.
Totally different person. A new
And how long
person.
ago was this?
This was in like from the time I was like 22 to like 25 or 26. So this was maybe in 2009, I would say. 2008, 2009. It was
You know,
in
it's so
2009.
interesting because I have teenage boys and I have a 20-year-old now, and I think about all the shit I did when I was 20. You know what I mean? And do you now look back on that like still with a lot of pain, or are you or are you like that's just a rite of passage? Everyone kind of goes through that.
I really don't. I look back on it with like a lot of gratitude, actually. Like, fucking thank God I found out before I like married this guy.
And had 6 kids.
And have 6 kids and live in Milwaukee, and he works at a souvenir factory, and I'm making spaghetti for like
A souvenir
yeah.
factory.
Yeah.
It's her fucking nightmare, dude. She can work at any fucking factory she wants, Jessica.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I'm
No,
just
he works at
imagining
the
little
souvenir
tchotchkes
factory.
going across the belt.
He works at the souvenir
Oh, he
factory.
did work at the souvenir
Yeah, I
factory?
tried working at the souvenir factory, and those ladies didn't like me, so they fired me after like my first week.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What
I-
were you doing that was so bad at the souvenir factory?
I worked too fast, and they felt like their hours were threatened.
Yeah, you can't
'cause
do
I
that
was like
shit. You can't go
finishing
in
all the
full
shit.
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what was this souvenir factory making that week that you were working there?
just like so there's stuff that you see when you're on vacation, like the little magnets that have like the shells on them and stuff.
Uh-huh.
We made those. We just glued shells to like shit that was made
In
China.
Wisconsin?
Yeah, in
You
Wisconsin.
glued shells in
Yeah, and
Wisconsin
then
in
sent
the
them off
factory?
to like
Made in
Myrtle
China.
Beach or wherever. Yeah, bought like
Yeah.
bags of shells from China, like
Uh-huh.
huge bags.
So you could start your own shop.
Yeah, that's what this person did. He was a total moron and completely inept, and he ran a souvenir factory. This is not the person I dated. The person I dated worked for the guy who ran the souvenir factory.
Oh, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a simple, straightforward story.
Am
I
done?
almost thought, well, is there more to the story?
Just that I've never loved again, but no.
I know.
I mean, I've loved. I don't know. I've never been in like a
Go, Alicia, go.
I keep holding on. I know you turn that song off every time it comes on the
I
radio.
never heard it before.
You haven't?
Couldn't turn it off if I wanted.
Oh,
wow.
okay. I'm going to text it to you.
Okay.
It's a beautiful
Oh, I love it.
It's a beautiful song. Isn't that Dionne
Wow.
Warwick?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have any questions, Jessica?
Laura, Laura, how long have you been doing stand-up?
9 years.
And you were doing stand-up when you were with this guy?
I started stand-up when I broke up with this guy, and then we got back together, and I was still doing it, and he did not like that. He really didn't want me to
How
do
old are you
stand-up.
now?
34.
Were you talking about him in your act?
So
I mean,
early
I'm
on.
sure I was. I think I had like a joke or two about him. I think I wrote a joke when we broke up, but then we got back together. I mean, the joke didn't hit. So not really.
So you guys were together from 22 to 26,
Yes, I
And
was
then-
22 to 26, yeah.
and that was,
And I started stand-up when I was 26.
so 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was older than you?
Yes. Sorry, I'm like 9 years ago. I wasn't 26. 10 years ago. That fucked me up.
Trust me, we've been doing the math.
So I don't 25 or 26. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's hard. And what was your question? What did you ask me?
How old? Like, I want to know how old.
Yeah, was he older than you?
Yeah, like how much older was
But
he
I
than
guess that makes sense because we didn't. He was 3 years older. He was 25 when we started dating.
I have a question about the factory. So when you made the souvenirs, was it every day was a new souvenir that you made, or you guys just worked all week to do just a shitload of certain souvenirs?
Worked all week to do just a shitload of certain souvenirs. So we would have like orders. Like Myrtle Beach wants 32 of the mermaid magnet.
Uh-huh.
And so you'd have to make the mermaid magnet and fill that order and then put it to the side. And then you'd start the next order.
Uh-huh. And what exactly was your job?
I like put the shit on the shit. I like glued the shit to the shit. So I'd like glue like.
What kind of shit?
So you're making a magnet, right? And you got yourself a base. You got yourself a base. You got a hot glue gun, and you got your shit that you got to glue on it. So it'll say they would explain to me like, all right, so this gets like 2 shells right there, and then like a little. Like a mermaid or whatever right there.
Uh-huh. So
And
they
like
had
a
little
fish
baby
there.
mermaids.
And they would
that-
have a sample, and I would
Uh-huh.
just imitate it. So some of the
Uh-huh.
shells could be like different colors, you know, if you're working with a bag of multicolored shells. You'd make, I mean, yeah.
You should have told your last second, man.
Why, you think this is a lie?
Oh yeah.
You think this is a lie?
Yeah, I think the factory worker thing.
I
Kinda,
don't know. She
might have
kind of,
cost you.
I thought, kind of teared up a little bit when she's talking about the guy, though.
That might
The
all
only
have
thing
some truth
is
to
this
it.
doesn't sound like it would be a factory. It's more of like,
a,
come
ho-
over.
a hobby shop.
you were approximately you were something like 75 seconds into your story when Lindsay Worth said lying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why, though? Why? What gave it away for Lindsay?
You know what I said? I didn't ask, but I just responded and said I had the same inclination right away. So
Right.
Alicia, you know, just let you know you're allowed to ask.
Yeah, you're
questions
allowed
stuff,
to
too.
ask
Oh,
questions.
okay.
Please do.
Yeah,
Please do.
I threw a few things in.
Yeah.
You threw a few things in?
Yeah.
What do you
Like
mean?
that song.
Oh, okay.
My song,
I
I
see what
started
you mean.
Yeah.
singing.
Like, yeah, I've been
Yeah,
getting
I
in there.
participate.
Okay, cool.
I get
yeah.
in, I
Yeah,
get
you've
in.
been getting in there.
All right, Michael Evans, what are your thoughts?
Sorry.
Michael's like, what?
Alicia's saying she's been getting in there, so funny. No, I did. I totally did. Did you make little license plates at
No.
not the little names on the license
No, I
plate?
wasn't in prison.
No,
no,
they
Oh, I
have
see what you
souvenirs
mean.
like that.
I'm like,
yeah.
did I make license plates?
No,
No.
okay.
nobody's in the souvenir
I
game
mean,
that
it was
doesn't
a
know about the
prison of
license
sorts.
plates.
How about this?
Sorry.
How about this? How about this? What else did you make there at the factory? What other? Give me some other souvenir
Well, she was
examples.
only there a
Jesus
week.
Christ, I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, but if he worked at the souvenir
Souvenirs.
factory, he would probably come home like, oh, fuck, I had to make 30, 100.
I'm so
something
pissed
American
too because
flags.
this wasn't even supposed to be part of my fucking story.
No, but
That's-
it
that's what I'm
counts.
saying.
It
You
counts.
guys are like,
What
well,
was-
tell me more about the souvenir factory.
What
Now
was the?
talk
I
about-
didn't remember. I just want to know
This
what the
fucking
pay
shit.
was. What was the pay?
God, I do
You know,
not.
Did you,
Capitalism.
did you guys ever have sex at the souvenir factory?
On a
Ooh.
Fuck
souvenir?
no. Oh, you never want to have sex at the souvenir factory. It's about the saddest place I ever been in my whole life.
I bet you never thought you'd say that sentence ever.
Never wanted to. Don't want to be saying it now.
Okay.
All right. In short,
Okay.
I think the story's true.
Really?
It feels legit to me. She seems pretty
Mike
emotionally
believes
invested.
in love.
I believe in love.
Leah said online,
That's
sounds
fucking
like a
killing me that I
man.
can't think of the other
Believe
shit we
in
made.
love.
We made
Love.
paperweights.
You made
Paperweights?
paperweights?
We made paperweights. Could it all have been magnets and paperweights?
Could it?
Wow.
That should be the name of your
my.
special, Magnets and
Yeah.
Paperweight.
What the fuck else did we make?
Yeah, but now the problem I
I
is
love the outrage
have-
with the change of story.
the problem I have is that he worked there, so he continued to work there. So you should know more about what the factory made. I mean, if you knew anything
I
about
agree
your
with
fiance.
you. We
Did
had
you guys
ton of this
meet
shit
at the
home.
You met at the souvenir factory?
No, we didn't. We met through my friend Rebecca.
Okay.
And you both just happened to work at the same souvenir factory.
No, he got me the job, asshole.
Sorry. all right. I'm a Christian. Take it easy.
Sorry.
Leah said, "Sounds
Sorry,
like a
I
man."
had a lot of
so she
emotions coming up.
Leah thought that story was very indicative of what a man would do, so she thinks it's true.
Yeah, it might be. She's getting all. We'll have to see how you tell your second story to judge how hopped up you get on the second story. All right, it's
I don't
our
even want
turn.
to tell my fucking second story.
No, we want you to because it's going to be awesome. So, Alicia, it's your turn. Don't get nervous.
Good luck, Alicia. It's fucking bullshit. Hate to. Spoiler alert.
Oh, I'm going now?
Okay.
Okay, so this is what happened. First of all, I do not like flying. I thought I was going to like it when I quit my full-time job and started touring. I was like, this is going to be fun, but you quickly realize this is some shit here. You know, especially like when you have early flights and stuff. So, you know, what I would do is because I didn't like to stay up on the plane, I would not go to sleep if I had an early flight. So what I do is I start washing clothes at like 2 a.m., packing at like 3 a.m., and then I get in the car at 4 a.m. to head to the airport for the 6 a.m. flight. So I did that so that I could sleep on the plane undisturbed. You know, I was like, fuck the peanuts. I don't want anything. I just want to sleep. I just don't like this. I don't like the, you know, I just don't like the compressed air. I just don't like anything about it. So the last time that I did that, you know, I was like, okay, I'm going to just sleep when I get on the plane. I complained about something. I got bumped up to first class.
Woo.
And that's a whole
Fuck
new
yeah, dude.
world.
I'm bitching forever.
Okay.
Same place. You
Yeah, I was looking
never
back at the
knew.
commoners like, don't look at me. Don't look at me. I want your common stench on my shoulder. Can you close the curtain? Close the curtain on those people. So I get to my seat. You know, it's like row 2 or something. That's just the beauty of first class. It's like single digits. And I'm in like row 2, and I'm like, I don't care what else happens. I'm going to get to my cushiony good seat, and I'm going to sleep. So I put my little stuff in the overhead bin. I get to my seat. Like, people are still getting on, and I'm already gone. Like, I'm just that exhausted.
And they got so nice room. They got leg room, and
Oh,
you can lean back
Blanket,
more.
pillow,
Oh,
you know, everything you need
I
is
got
there.
bumped up one time, and I'll never forget it.
Oh, man. You really look at your life after you've been bumped up. It's the worst thing that could actually happen to you, because then you know
Then
just
you really
how the
know.
other half lives. And so so now I'm finally getting some sleep. And then we get to the right altitude, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. So first I think I'm dreaming. Tap, tap, tap. I look to the right, and it's Dr. Maya Angelou. So I'm a
Holy
big
shit.
fan. I'm like, oh, my goodness, Dr. Maya Angelou. Oh, I have all your books. This is amazing. Sitting in first class with you.
Now, I've always said Maya Angelou.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what we say in the South.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought it was Angela too, actually.
Yeah, yeah, we say Angelou.
Mm.
You know, the L-O-U, like
I
Lou
guess
Grant.
it is, yeah.
You know.
It's a lie.
So,
All right.
so I go to get back on my pillow. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. I'm like, yes, ma'am. She said, are you really going to go to sleep and miss your blessing?
Whoa.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, oh.
You telling me she was
man.
conceited like that?
I was like, blessing. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a
think
financial
that's an
blessing. I
awesome
didn't know,
blessing.
you know, what kind. Then I realized, oh, she's the blessing. So I sit up and I let her talk. Because she's royalty. I'm like, I had all her books. I was like, I'm going to let her talk. And she talked for 5 hours, So the whole time my head is snapping back like, bop, bop. This wasn't a Clockwork Orange. This was a Clockwork Angela. My eyes were just boiling out of my head. So by the time she finished talking, I knew why the caged birds sang. So I got up and I went over to...
And still I rise.
I rose and I got up and I went to the flight attendant begging. And I was like, please, ma'am, give me something back there. Give me some coffee, some no-dose, some cocaine, whatever you may have in the back. So she gives me some coffee. I sit down. Now I'm up. Fuck it, I'm up. So then I tell her, I said, yes, I just want you to know that I too am a blessing. I used to work in talk.
Check out this dick joke.
And I was a talk show producer, reality show producer. I quit all of that to become a stand-up comic, and I'm just going on about myself because it's my turn now. I look to the right, and she is asleep.
Oh, bitch.
So that's when I go tap, tap, tap.
Are you?
Tap, tap, tap. I too am a blessing. She does not wake up. So I look down at her purse and I got her cell phone out and I got Oprah's number, and that was the blessing. I have a meeting with the OWN network because of that.
When was this?
This was 8 years ago.
You stole Oprah's phone number.
Out of her purse.
Let's call her.
You're telling me this Maya Angelou story, and the only thing I can think to ask is, tell me a little more about that souvenir factory.
God, what the fuck else did we make? It's killing me. It's called Visionary Products. You can look it up right now.
We're not allowed to look up.
No Googling.
But did you make any Maya Angelou souvenirs? Can we cross these stories over?
Any my
Oh,
keychains?
wow. It
couldn't have all been magnets and paperweights.
It couldn't have been.
I feel like I know we didn't make menorahs. I can picture like a bowl. I don't know what we fucking made.
Oh.
I
glass.
love this podcast for the fact that the stories are so varied, and
We made floating candles. We made a glass and had a floating candle. Candle holders.
Okay.
That's what they're called.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, all good. All good.
Yes. The stories that when you have a melanated guest, you're gonna have melanated stories.
But it's just that fucking story came full circle. Like I can't believe that at the end that you said I'm the blessing to Maya Angelou, and I can't believe you would throw Maya Angelou under the bus saying she was a chatty Cathy. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
Now,
Was
Felicia,
my-
can I tell you, when I first got here, I was doing audience work, to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And I did audience work for Queen Latifah when she started her show going.
Oh
and it was-
yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I did. It was
Oh,
one of the
wow.
last ones.
Yeah.
And it was only like a little bit of us up top. And the rest were real people, on vacation and stuff, watching.
mhm.
So we got all these bags and free stuff. It was amazing. Plus we got paid. And Queen Latifah came up the audience like ramp or whatever, and she came right to me and she was like, "I love your hair." I was like, and that was it. I just wanted to tell you that.
I love you. What the fuck does that have to do with the Maya Angelou story? That has nothing to do with the Maya
Well,
Angelou
so
story.
we want black women, so we
Okay.
want to keep it going.
Felicia, keep up.
Strong black women, Felicia.
Black
Do you
women.
know anything
My
about them?
blessings.
or-
My
We're on black
apologies.
female blessings.
Yes.
Hashtag
Wow.
blessing.
Black female blessings.
Well, that's it, but that's just too much of a full circle. I love the story though, but
Yeah, Leah really wants it to be true online.
I
She's
know,
like pleading
I know.
for it to be true.
Yeah, but it's too.
Who's gonna make up a story about Dr. Maya Angelou? Who's gonna make that up?
You
No.
had me until the Oprah thing, I think,
yeah,
until the cell phone
yeah,
thing.
Until the cell phone.
How did you get
thing.
your cell phone? There was no password protection.
She was 80.
Was it a flip phone?
They
She didn't
can't
have anybody
remember
traveling with her?
passwords.
How? I mean, I didn't.
No,
I don't
not
think
What
she-
she-
all
first
was in her
class.
purse?
That's
What
Ooh,
was in
I
her
like
purse?
that.
I saw some reading glasses. I saw some Kleenex because older people keep Kleenex.
And reading glasses.
I
for that
saw
matter.
I saw some cookies in her purse. I
No
took
shit.
those too.
What kind of cookies? Do you remember?
Yeah, they were the Lorna Doone.
Shut up.
Maya Angelou travels with Lorna Doone? Who doesn't travel with Lorna Doone?
First of all, I don't even know what a Lorna Doone is.
They're like butter cookies or something.
Oh, they're top of the
Yeah,
line
yeah.
cookies,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. If you're at a gas
They're
station
the
and you
kind
want a
Dr.
plain,
Angelou would carry.
What are
plain
the
cookie,
ones
you
that
get
are
a-
shitty? They're the little butter biscuit ones that are just so gross.
oh, that they give on the plane.
I want to say Werther's, but I know that's not right. No,
You
they're
mean
grandma
like the
purse
kindergarten
cookies.
cookies that
Oh,
they
you
give
mean
out?
like those little
Grandma, they're like little
like
bricks of
yeah,
shortbread.
they're
and
like
they're fucking
animal
good.
crackers. That's what they.
No,
No,
they're.
she's
no.
talking about like the wafers.
The bricks.
They're
What are-
wafers.
no, they're bricks of shortbread. What are they called?
They're called like
Oh.
Bischoff or Biscoff. Or
Thank
something.
you.
Those are good.
No, you're wrong.
Biscoff is good.
Yeah,
You're wrong.
honestly, I think they're pretty good. I like them.
Reigning
Yeah.
leader of
You're
white
wrong.
people
We're trying
knowledge.
to get-
Michael
I know, I
Evans.
know.
We're trying to get a Biscoff sponsor.
Wow. I would have never thought out of all of us that you would know that fucking answer, Michael Evans.
He doesn't. It's the wrong answer. I really can't stress that enough.
Well, that's a good story. You guys both told really good stories, but that is so clean at the end. That's like a writing trick to clean it up like that. So I don't know.
Right, and then for her to remember clearly what kind of cookie she had in her bag. I
Right.
don't know.
But I do admire.
Huh.
Oh, come on now. But I do admire that if you did make that up, that's a sweet ass story to make up. But I don't think you would throw Maya Angelou under the
Yeah,
bus.
maybe
like
she was
that.
on a
Why?
plane
Well,
and
she's
she saw
dead.
Maya Angelou and talked to
What?
her.
she's dead.
Not because she threw her under a bus.
I had nothing to do with it.
Jessica.
Jessica's like,
Anyone
she killed her.
that- that's
she can tell this
dead.
joke.
What came of the meeting with?
Nothing.
What was that
That's
meeting like? Tell
well,
us about it.
I was pitching a reality show, and they told me that the reality show was a little too edgy for the network.
What was it?
Well, it was a guy who was married to a very popular African American lady named Terry McMillan. You guys remember her? She wrote the books Waiting to Exhale, and they turned them into movies. Stella got her group back. Well,
Yes.
Terry had married
about
a
both of those
gentleman who came out of the closet years later. So I created a reality show where we followed this gentleman through the gay clubs and everything looking for love. And so I was told that, that the audience is pro Terry and would not want to see a show like that.
That probably hit too close to home for Oprah. With Stanley.
You mean Stanley? You mean Stedman?
I mean Stanley.
Oh, fuck, dude. I hate that you made me say his name. All right. Well, that's a great story. We're gonna Stanley. She's awesome, right? So
Flat Stanley.
So we're gonna move on now to your second story, Lara.
Man, it's not that.
That's okay. No,
All right.
not everyone has a Maya Angelou story.
I think I'm the only one.
My second story, I was in 3rd grade, so I was like 8, and I ran away
Checks out.
from school. So far, so good. Oh, I hope. Who's the one who said I was lying right up top? I know it wasn't Leah.
That was Lindsay.
All right, Lindsay, we'll see if you think this is a lie 75 seconds in.
Ooh.
Okay. I was in 3rd grade. I ran away from school, and the police found me. I ran
Why
away.
did you run away?
Because school sucked. I hated school.
Were you being picked on?
Yes. I was being picked on at school, and
You know what they say about the Wisconsin school system. It's a rough one.
yeah, it was awful. And I ran away during recess, and no one noticed. No one noticed. And I just like walked, and I found the train tracks, and I walked along the train tracks, and then the police found me, and I had to spend a week in a mental hospital. And I became friends
that.
with this little kid my age who like was a cigarette smoker, but he couldn't smoke cigarettes obviously. So he could buy Nicorette gum from the vending machine at the hospital. And he had like electrodes on him and stuff. He was crazy. And he was like my little boyfriend. I mean, we obviously didn't like do anything, but
I'm sorry.
You know you can't tell two lies. Right?
But how do you go from just you fucking split school and you're walking on railroad tracks to being committed for a week?
the police found me and I was a little kid, and then they like took me to a feelings doctor, and then that lady took me to. I remember going like from that shrink's office to the hospital, and it was very fast. It was like then I was in the hospital.
How did your parents or guardians feel about all this?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't ask them. I was 8.
You'd never ask them after? Like, why'd you let them throw me
I
in
mean,
the
I
crazy
know that they were
hospital?
upset about it. You know, I know they didn't love it. My mom said that if I did it again, the police were going to like take me away and I wasn't going to be able to live with my family anymore.
God damn you! Now I believe the souvenir factory
Me
story.
too.
God damn it!
Me too.
Really?
I know.
I mean, but you're 8 in a mental hospital
And
Yeah.
electrodes and
with another 8-year-old that smokes.
yeah, nobody hit
He
each other
didn't
with
smoke-
cheese.
I mean, they couldn't like give him
Yeah.
cigarettes, but he was a smoker, so he had like a note so he could buy the gum.
He had a
from the-
note.
Oh, like the
I guess.
Nicorette gum? Like,
Yeah.
oh, really?
Yeah, he could buy the gum.
He had a note.
He had a note.
Like from his mom.
How
Yes.
old were you?
I was like 8.
8.
Yeah, 8 or 9. 8, 9. I was in 3rd grade.
You didn't ask no, I don't know. I have kids, and if one of them had to go away to a mental institution, they'd be like, "What the fuck, bitch? What's up?" Even at 8, you'd be like, "What up?" You didn't say to your parents,
I
what time?
kind of was a little bit excited about it because I didn't have to go to school for that week, and you know, just like had a new experience.
Now, did you know
I
it was
like-
just going to be for a week?
No. I didn't know
Did-
how long it was
now,
going to be for. And it
did-
was actually very upsetting. I remember the first night they made me sleep in like an actual padded room.
Did your classmates or anything send you balloons in the hospital?
Absolutely not. Kids were not allowed to play with me after that.
Because I remember as a kid, I do remember I was so happy that I had a kidney infection that I got to be in the hospital for. And I was happy because now finally I got the balloons
Yeah.
from my class.
But that's
Yeah.
physical. It's different if it's mental stuff.
I had to. I broke my leg at a school picnic I can't believe I'm telling this fucking story in 7th grade, and I had to go to like a children's ward because they were very poor, and I was in this big open ward. I might even shed a tear, and I remember I had this big old cast up to my hips, right? Like
She's
on my
laughing
leg.
at you.
No,
She's
and there was this little boy next to me that had cerebral palsy, and I had to go to the bathroom like number 2 really bad, right?
no.
But I couldn't get out of the bed because I had this big old cast.
Oh no.
And then
So
they
you
put
pooped on the cerebral palsy kid.
She's just putting it together. Don't look at her like that. You're giving her the pieces. She's just
I
putting them
am
together.
trying to make it make sense.
So anyway, they had the curtains go around the bed. So finally, I talked the nurse. It was like 2 a.m. to go to the use the potty, right, like the bedpan, and they do the curtain. And I was like, because it'd been like 3 days since the accident, so I was like really going in the bedpan. And as I was really straining to go, I just happened to. You guys, this is so fucked up. I happened to look over, and through the crack of the curtain, I could see the boy was my age, had cerebral palsy, and he was looking at me hard. I was like, what the fuck?
I totally thought you were going to say he was jerking off. I was like, this is the most fucked up story.
Pretty close
She
to
talked over interrupted my story for this story.
That's right.
You were the
that's
highlight
right.
of his life. He's still talking about it.
Taking a shit, I was a highlight of someo's life.
He's
Just
still
remember
talking
that here
about
as a group, okay?
He's still talking about it. When he saw you years later, he said, "That's the good I saw pooping."
Yes, exactly.
it
Exactly.
wasn't French.
Oh,
Wow. When you're right, you're right. I love it. Okay. Wow.
I
Okay.
can't believe you're like, I might cry.
So, what do you think about her story?
I think it's funny that you almost cried remembering the time that a kid with cerebral palsy watched you poop.
Fond memories,
It's-
Laura. I mean, come on.
In
memory
a
lane.
children's ward. I'm just saying, you guys probably
Nostalgia.
wish you had that experience.
yeah, nostalgia.
So, any questions of any questions from our audience?
They're a little confused because a lot of them think that both stories sound like a lie.
I know.
And
I
I'm
know.
kind of on the same boat. Matthew Bowen wants to know, is that protocol to take kids to a shrink when you find them out and about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Never knew that to be a punishment for
I don't
truancy.
know.
Yeah,
Not
that's
my
what I'm
job to know
saying.
that.
I think I was telling that story.
Leah said in the 20s. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. That you wouldn't have more of a memory of like specifically what was going on, and you wouldn't ask your parents or any of that.
I had told them that I had thoughts of hurting myself.
Oh, you were destined to be a comic.
So that's a missing
you lived
piece
in a small
that you're
town.
looking for. I lived in the suburbs of Milwaukee.
So that's small, right?
Not really. I mean, compared to here, yeah.
Anywhere near Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
You really had thoughts of
I remember-
hurting yourself when you were 8?
Yes. I remember the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing because I didn't know. Like, I wish my parents had just told me, like, he's gay and your dad's not gay, so he's not going to kill your dad. But I remember that whole time and being, because we watched the news every night. You know, my dad would have the news on during dinner.
Probably not a good idea for a mentally ill 8-year-old.
And they should have told you. They should have
didn't
told
say I
you
was
your
not
dad's not gay or black. He's been killing black gay guys.
Oh, he was?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't know what black was either or gay.
All you knew was cheese.
Yeah, I knew about cheese dads.
The Packers.
I wish that they had told me that stuff because every time my dad would
shit.
like leave for work, I was afraid
That's
that
it.
Jeffrey
Uh-huh.
Dahmer was gonna kill him.
Dark Star wants to know, in the mental hospital, did they carve coconuts into monkey heads and sell them to tourists down by the dock? Is that part of the souvenir? Factory.
There's a lot in that. Okay. Okay.
All right. Anybody else saying anything online?
No, just Lindsay says, what facility takes 8-year-olds? So I'm
Milwaukee
real quickly, I'm
Psychiatric
curious, Lindsay, do you
Hospital?
think the first one now is a lie? Are you sticking with this one's a lie? 'Cause
I think
Lindsay's a
all
little
mental
on the
health
fence.
facilities take 8-year-olds if the 8-year-olds are the ones
Running
with the
away from
I don't
school?
know. I
issues.
just watched Law and Order where there was a 10-year-old that murdered a little boy, and they didn't take the 10-year-old girl who murdered the
dun.
little. Yeah, I know. So
Really?
I'm very suspect of your story. All right, so let's move on to Alicia's second story.
Okay, when I was in middle school, because I have the same best friends from kindergarten, the movie Purple Rain came out, and everybody was so obsessed with Prince. Like, he took the throne from Michael Jackson. So you would still have the few little girls who was like, I'm Michael Jackson, but everybody else seemed to run over to Prince around the time of Purple Rain. So
You remember the song Raspberry Beret?
Yes.
Ras-
but
I
that hadn't
always-
come out yet, though.
Okay, I always thought they were talking. They said Raspberry Parade.
That sounds fun. That sounds really fun.
But no, I used to think when he was saying, are we going to let the elevator bring us down? I thought he said, are we going to let the Yellow Betty bring us down? I don't know where I got Yellow Betty from. And then Prince died in an elevator. Isn't that bullshit? So we get to...
So you said, what grade were you in?
I was in middle school. I was in the
Middle-
7th.
Okay.
So, and everybody was wearing purple. It was just such a big deal. Purple notebooks and shit. It was just fucking
I'm
crazy.
sorry, Alicia. How old are you? And
I'm in my 40s.
okay. That helps me not a bit.
So Purple Rain comes out, and it's like a Saturday, and my two other best friends, Tyra and Quandetta, yes, Quandetta, we all just
You thought we were all going to be like, Quandetta? How fucking dumb do you think we are?
I knew it was coming. I
Think
knew it
we're
was
so
coming.
ignorant?
I knew it was coming.
Quandetta was her name? No way.
I knew it was coming. So we get on a bus and we ride to the mall. At the time it was called Landover Mall. And we see the first showing of Purple Rain. So we were supposed to go see Purple Rain and come home. In your kid's mind, we had such a good time that we wanted to stay for the next. It was back in the day where you could just keep staying in a theater because it wasn't assigned seats.
Yeah.
So we stay for the next one, and then we stay for the next one, and then we stay for the next one. Now, by the fourth time, we know all the words, we know all the songs. We stayed all the way to the last
8
show.
hours?
Yeah, oh, we were obsessed. And I mean, we loved it. What is a Lake Minnetonka? And, you know, we're singing those songs. And we're singing the songs. We stayed to the last showing. We didn't realize we got out. It's pitch black, and the buses will stop running.
Oh, this is before phones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is definitely before cell
Yeah.
phones.
Cell phones. They had
So-
phones, Felicia.
You're right.
But cell phone, well, you know what I was saying.
Yeah, we had cordless phones even, but we still had shit hooked to the wall. So so now we're like, oh fuck, how are we gonna get home? We already know we're in trouble. It's like 11:30 at night. It's pitch black, and we have no way to get home. So now we're huddled up. Like, what are we gonna do? We can't walk. We live too far. So this man walks up and says, "Oh, you guys look troubled. Do you want? I can give you a ride." And we're like, we don't know this strange ass
Bad,
man.
no.
So now we're huddling again, like, well, should we take the ride? Well, I had no fucking choice to take the ride.
How many of there were you?
There was 3 of us
Okay.
total.
How
So
far
the-
away was your home? I'm sorry if you
I
already
would
said
say probably was about a 5-mile ride.
that. Dang.
Yeah, so we couldn't walk, and it's late.
So it's a ride. So you got in.
We
is
got,
what it sounds
yeah, but
like.
what we did was we huddled together and we said, okay, everybody get a door and you hold onto the handle of your door. And if he tries anything, open that door and roll out. So that was our plan.
Was this before child lock?
This was before child lock.
Did the man hear you all planning that in his car?
No, we were still huddled.
I feel like that would be hurtful. I'd be like, I'm
You
sorry
were
to take
huddled,
you
so
home
if
with your
he
kids,
struck
but,
you
like, I
guys, it
can
could
hear-
be all 3 together.
Right, well, we were huddled because we were still trying to decide whether we were going to get in.
Oh, okay. You're huddled outside. The
Outside.
Car.
So I can't remember which one of us said everybody hold onto a handle and stop, drop, and roll
Quandetta
if you
for
need
sure.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
Quandetta probably
She was a
said
safe
that.
one.
Could you imagine hearing these kids in your car? Okay,
So we get in this man's car and I hear him laughing because he probably notices all of us like
Right.
this.
Yeah.
You know, we're scared as shit. And we already know if we get killed, we're going to get in trouble. So
That's the greater fear. I
So,
love it.
so we're holding on to the handle. I was ready to go. If we needed to leave, we didn't even think about the front. One in the front's gonna get fucked up. Like the 2 in the back will make it, but they have to live with the fact they let their friend in the front get fucked up. But we hadn't thought that far ahead. So he took us all the way home without incident. So now we're out and we're like, oh shit, now we got to knock on the door and we're going to get cursed out. We should have been in here a long time ago. So we're trying to figure out, should we all go to one person's house or should we just all split up? And so we all just split up and then we all ended up getting punished. And so we couldn't hang out for a couple of weeks after that with each other.
What did the guy look like?
You know, it was so long ago, I can't remember. He probably looked like the Atlanta child murderer, Wayne Williams. He had a little short afro, and he was short. He had on, like, slacks and a button-down shirt, you know, like he might have been in his... Back then, if you were in your
Right.
30s, you looked old.
Right.
So he probably was in his late 30s, and we thought that was 110.
Wow, I'm really admiring your Maya Angelou story now, right?
Yeah, she can't remember what this guy looks like, but she can remember the kind of cookies that
Maya
Angelou.
Angelou.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you guys think which one's real?
Well, that's just
We
because I
don't- we
love
haven't voted
That's
yet.
because I love
Okay.
cookies. And chicken strips. I
Wow.
never got a Popeye's chicken sandwich, by the
Neither
way.
did
I
I.
haven't either.
Smarting
Yeah.
about
I really
that.
want one, but I also I kind of want to wait until everyone else has tried it, and then I'll try it when they have enough. Because my friend Jessica has waited in the line for over a half an hour twice, only to get to the front, and they're out.
Oh,
The-
The, like the
I've done
person in
that,
front
sister.
of her,
Oh,
I think at least
no.
one of the times bought the rest of them.
See, that's the only time I agree with pulling out an AR-15.
That's
Wow.
why.
Wow.
You get me all the way to the front? You let me stand this line for half hour? You didn't even come back there and tell
I'm
me
like-
it's over?
I'm like, what's an
Wow.
AR-15? Is that short for a sign that they're out of sandwiches? So that people don't
All right, so what did the people online say?
They are all saying that she is a very good storyteller and that both of these actually sound true. So it's funny that we have somebody on one side that both stories sound true and somebody on the other side both stories sound like a lie. So maybe you guys
That
need
is
to.
odd.
Is there a button on there where you can tell those people to go fuck themselves?
Might take me a minute, let me see, yeah.
No.
Felicia said no. Like she had thought about the button. It didn't come in time.
We need all 12 of them, please.
I know, right?
So, Michael Evans, what do you think?
I kind of feel the opposite. I don't feel like Lara Beitz.
I know.
I don't feel like those stories are insane. I think both of them sounded pretty reasonable. She had a lot of detail. When it came down, even the mental hospital thing as a kid, she had some strange details that would seem right off the cuff, easy to spit
Yeah,
out.
but the whole factory, none of the factory that she mentioned was automated. That's what a factory is. It's automated.
that's a pretty good.
How would you keep up with all the magnets, Laura?
That's a pretty good
Factory
point.
is a place where things are made, and things were made at this place.
Someone's got to make them, and that was
Wow,
you.
interesting.
And as far as
Interesting.
Alycia goes, I'm 100% on that the second story is true. The first one
Me
is a
too.
lie.
Sorry, not that I was asked.
All right, so what we're going to do is Austin is going to do a quick recap of the stories. We'll start with Lara's story, and we'll decide and make a vote after he does a recap.
All right, Laura's first story. She was with this souvenir factory worker for a while, and they went back
Really
and forth.
making it the focus of the story. The
I know.
They went back.
And he wasn't the owner.
He was not the owner, but they did go back and
A
forth.
souvenir factory worker and Lara. It's the first thing in. Okay.
Yeah, because it should have been a souvenir business, not a factory.
So
we have some serious Googling of terms to do.
after the show, of course, because it's illegal during the show. But they went back and forth to Wisconsin. Then he proposed to her in their apartment like a goober. But she found out that this person was got a little too friendly with somebody that she was already friendly with. So she banished him to a life at the souvenir
He
factory
fucked
forever.
some slut, is how I prefer to say.
But a
it.
very nice slut.
Very nice. She was a good lady. Story 2.
There was nothing said that she was a good lady.
She
in
wasn't
that, so-
nice. She
yeah.
was friendly, which was inappropriate.
Right.
Giving the
Yeah.
fact
She
that
was very friendly and nice to you.
She would
Yeah,
clearly
as she
give.
was
But that's
fucking
being
her.
phony.
Yeah.
That's not being nice.
She would
Yeah.
clearly give you the shirt off her back. If it meant that she could be shirtless with your man in a
Yeah,
different room.
exactly.
Story 2. She was 8 and in 3rd grade and committed truancy by escaping her school and running away.
Committed truancy.
But she
Wow.
got arrested. Then the
I know,
fuzz
yeah.
Really
threw her in a
vilifying
mental
a
hospital
child.
where she befriended a cigarette-smoking kid that later grew up to manage a souvenir factory, believe it or not. Thank you, Michael. Okay.
Okay.
By the way,
so
yeah,
sorry.
that's how ridiculous that is that you that you did truancy and you ended up in a mental institution over truancy.
Talk about hitting a gnat with
I
an
think it was
elephant
like a
gun.
$25 fine in Polk County, Florida. But
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
They
That was
didn't say
hilarious.
that was the whatever. Okay.
I got a smoking ticket in Polk County.
Well, you better be careful because you're about to go to the mental institution.
watch out.
All right, so let's take a vote. Fuck it, let's take a vote. Alicia, what do you think?
Do I think which
Which
show?
one do you think is a
Okay,
lie?
I
Yeah.
think the lie was the 8 years old in the mental institution. Did we ever
I'm
find
gonna
out the
tell you-
name of the mental institution?
Milwaukee Psychiatric Hospital.
For children.
For
For children.
For truant children.
For children.
Fuck you guys.
What did they say on Zoolander? Anyway,
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jessica?
I had a question and I forgot it.
Okay, but which story do you think is a lie?
I just have a really hard time with the factory.
Oh my God. Are you gonna fucking say one more time?
But I agree though because some of the
automated.
dates were off. The ages were off and the dates were off on that factory story.
That's kind of true too. That's kind
And
of true.
I will tell you that Lara is has a little bit of anxiety.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Well,
not-
fuck, I'd have anxiety too if I was truant and then in a mental institution. The rest
Getting
of
a
my
lobotomy.
adulthood would be.
Almost getting a lobotomy.
she gets very nervous before sets, and sometimes you have to hug her and stuff.
She was nervous before the
Oh,
show today.
so number 2
Yeah.
might be true.
So you have to give her autism hugs,
Okay.
calm her down, and you have
Mm.
to give her like praise.
But you know what? Earlier
How
today,
upsetting for me that you've been using it as a tool.
but remember when you first said autism hugs? I'm like, oh, I heard that, and it's because you had mentioned that about Lara earlier. That you gave her an autism hug.
I really think I might be. I think I might be. I know
On
a
the spectrum?
is everyone's on a spectrum, but I think I'm like in there. I'm
What
like
about
not on the
Asperger's?
end with
Could
that.
you be
I like
Asperger's?
have earplugs with me at all times in case
Oh.
I'm really audio sensitive.
Ah, that's Asperger's.
Maybe that's from working at that souvenir factory.
You should sue.
If it was a real factory, it'd be automated, and she might need or require ear
Okay, so
protection.
True.
which story do you think is the lie?
I think the lie is the factory.
Michael Evans, which one do you think
Story
is
wasn't
lie?
about a factory; it was about an engagement.
Dude, this has gotten so fucking wild. I don't know. I thought I was sure. I guess I feel most like the first story is true. How are we supposed to phrase it again? I think the second
Which one do
one's
you think is a lie?
Second story lie for me.
And you said the second story
I
is
think the first story's a lie.
okay.
We tell the lie.
And what about you, Austin, or anyone online?
So far, everybody online, only one person thinks that let me make sure, that her first story was true, lie. That's Hostetter. Everybody else thinks the first story was true. So
Me
only
and Hostetter,
Hostetter
we're
and Jessica at the moment
copacetic.
They are copacetic, and because of that, I'm going to side with them.
So say that again.
Hostetter,
Uh-huh.
out of everybody,
Okay.
is the only one that agrees with Jessica that the first story, the factory story, is a lie. And I tend to agree, but I also have a really hard time believing
This is so
that.
confusing. I don't even know what any of
Okay,
you are saying.
you will.
Did you
It's the
ever watch?
autism
Did
kicking
you
in.
ever
probably.
watch Roseanne?
I was thinking of
She
the Fork
worked
Factory when
in-
she started
Yes!
telling that story.
Right.
And
That's
I was
what
gonna
was in my head.
I was like, nobody will get that obscure reference of Roseanne's job
No.
on the first 2 seasons of
I
Roseanne.
knew that's exactly where I went, and that was a factory.
That's what I was thinking. It's Midwestern. It's
That
all.
was
Yep.
a
Also,
factory. That
um,
wasn't all
Laverne and
factories.
Shirley, they worked in a factory.
Yeah, they worked
in
at
Milwaukee.
the
Uh-huh.
beer
Milwaukee
factory.
Brewing
Also,
Company.
an
Schlemiel,
example.
Schlemazel, Hopkins Incorporated.
Really? You could get all the other fucking songs right, but you couldn't fucking throw a little effort on that one, Alicia?
We're gonna do it.
As fucked up as that truancy then went to a mental institution, the Milwaukee Children's Mental Institution.
The Milwaukee
Well, she
Psychiatric
went to see
Hospital.
the psychiatrist first.
All right. I do
Then
think
the
that second, how
psychiatrist-
fucked up that is, I think the second story is the true story.
Which one do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think the first one is a lie?
But I don't know why you laughed so hard at the recap of the second story. If it was true, I still think the second story is true, but I don't know
Because
what
they
was.
said a cigarette smoking. It just is funny the terms that you
Okay.
guys have put my stories into. It's not how I've ever thought about either one of them.
So you think the first story is true?
I think the
what do you think's a lie?
It's easier to write.
okay. I think the lie is the first story because I think you're really fucked up. And you probably, as an 8-year-old, said some fucked up shit to the psychiatrist, even though I don't really want to believe that you went truant and then you had to go to psychiatric hospital.
I think she skipped a few steps, but
Yeah.
in a nutshell, that's what happened.
Hostetter says that. Oh, wait. Just gonna let that simmer.
Are we doing a sound check?
Yeah.
What was that?
How long does voting last? We're gonna do a half hour of voting.
Hostetter.
It didn't hit me till I said nutshell.
Hostetter said an ex-souvenir factory employee would have a shark tooth necklace on, so that would be
Right, all right.
indicative.
Fair
And
enough, fair
Dark
enough.
Star says second graders chewing Nicorette and listening to Darling Nikki. Sounds legit.
All right. So, which story is the lie?
Oh, me.
Yes.
The first one's the lie. What was the vote though?
I
Which
got it
one
right
did
because
you
I
guys
said
say?
two. I said two.
You
You
said
and I said we got it right.
yeah, and Jessica too, right? 'Cause you
What
said-
was the
Yep, me too.
vote? What was the consensus?
We-
vote? You never
everybody
said the
but-
results of the vote.
Everybody but Michael thought the first story was a lie.
You didn't have to say it so
Sorry.
clearly.
I love you.
Everyone but Michael thought
Oh, they
that
thought the
you
first story
went
was
to
a
a
lie.
child psychiatrist.
Wow, fuck you guys.
Or I should say, everybody knew the first story was a lie.
Okay.
Well,
It was the souvenir factory.
Yeah,
that
see?
did it.
Factory shit
See?
was all true.
Just like I'm
all
gonna
that shit was true.
I'm gonna stand by the
that
Oprah
wasn't the
thing.
focus of the story. That was that was all true.
Hey, when it works, it works. I
You
don't know
made
what to tell
magnets,
you.
you glued
Yes,
magnets to the back
yes.
of
You
plastic.
call that a
Yes.
factory?
Yes.
An
What was
assem-
automated?
Maybe an assembly line.
Nothing.
Yeah, an
we
assembly
got it right
line.
because
Okay,
I couldn't
fine.
think
And
of
you
an
never
8-year-old
fucked that
with-
guy in
with
the
an
factory.
A place with an assembly line is a factory. Look up what a factory
Negative.
is.
Everybody online is very pissed off.
Well,
So the comedy store is a factory.
Ray,
Well, no,
I
the
got, I
Laugh
got your
Factory.
back.
Laugh
Oh, okay. My apologies.
We're a
my
store,
apologies.
Felicia. It says it in
We're
the
a
name.
store.
My apologies. All right, let's move on to
She had to take the sound
Felicia.
off right here.
I know,
Is
she's
that, that was
mad
too
at
loud?
us.
Loud,
She's
yeah.
mad at us now.
Real
Uh,
quick, everybody online's like, I suck. No, she got me. There's a lot missing in that hospital situation in their defense. So.
yeah, well, you guys put together that I'm saying that I got sent to a mental institution for a week for skipping school, and that's not what
But
happened.
that was like
that's just the sequence of events.
the Vegas part of the story was that you went to the psychiatrist, like Jessica said, or whatever. So I think that it could have, been very easily to lead that it was the truancy that got you put in jail, and the cops are the ones that got you put in the thing, not the psychiatrist.
I mean, I wouldn't call it jail.
Or crazy jail.
Well, that you can't
Well,
say
we're-
that.
Again,
though.
I
Come
wouldn't
on.
we'd
call
like to
it
say that.
Psychiatric
It
hospital.
was a hospital.
What are they watching right now?
It was a hospital.
Okay.
We're-
got
I just
treated
want
by
to
a
say
really
that
good
we're
chief
really happy that you made it through the insane asylum.
And welcome back.
Jessica, it's
Thank
called
you.
Crazy Jail, okay?
No, you guys, come on.
No,
now,
really,
Come on.
we're really glad that you made it through and you had a chance to work in that factory.
You know what? Here's the
It
thing.
was really more of an assembly line situation.
All right, we're moving on. I'm pounding the table. We're moving on to Alicia's. Please tell Alicia's stories.
All right, Alicia's first story. She's not a fan of flying, so she would take these early flights and deprive herself of sleep so that she could nap on the flight. I gotta say, I do the same thing too. Never works.
Me
though.
as well.
Never works for me.
It works for me.
I stay
Doesn't
awake
work
the whole
for me.
time and I hate myself.
Me too. I hate it. I have to sleep before.
It's miserable. She gets a tap, tap, tap on her shoulder and looks back to see Maya Angelou, not to be confused with Maya Angelou. And Maya blesses her with a conversation. So Alicia, very bored out of her mind, informs
Now,
her
one
that.
thing though, real quick. So sorry. You said she tapped you once. You
No,
looked
she said
at her
tap,
and
tap, tap.
She
Yeah.
said
Tap, tap,
twice,
tap.
so.
But two
Tap, tap, tap.
series of
Two-
tap, tap,
two-
tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was knocked out the first series.
First series, you look up and you didn't say you said anything, or you just like, oh, it's my Angelo, boom, and went back
She
to
said,
sleep.
"Have
No,
you
I did.
received your blessing?"
No. I said, oh, that's nice to meet you. I'm a big fan, and I went back to sleep.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So Maya blessed her with a conversation. Alicia said that she too is a blessing, and ends up killing Maya Angelou with boredom, and turns out she died later. Story 2, she was in middle school when Purple Rain came out, so everyone was obsessed with Prince. They go to see it in theaters and ended up staying for every single showing, and by the time they got out, all the buses had ran. Suddenly, a creepy man shows up to save the day, and they devise a plan in case he tried to attack, but they make it home safely despite maybe some ass whoopings or getting in trouble for staying out so late.
Wow. There's so much to unpack here, and we've discussed it a lot, but I just can't imagine that you would go into Maya Angelou's purse, and I can't imagine that you would throw Maya Angelou under the bus like that. And Maya Angelou was like, she was like a dancer, like almost like a stripper, a dancer. That was how she kind of was her foray into the business. So I can't believe that she would say, receive your blessing, and I am the blessing. So
She didn't say I am the blessing.
Well, but Alicia did say that she took that as wake
was
up, bitch,
implied.
I am your blessing.
Yeah.
That
Real
talk
quick,
to
there's
me.
been some confusion online that Alicia's second story, she did not say she was 7 years old in second grade, right? You said you were in middle school.
Yes, I was in middle school.
And I think she said she might have
In
been
the
in seventh
seventh
grade.
grade.
So I think
Yeah,
that's where
middle
the
school,
confusion
seventh
lies. Because some
grade.
people are thinking of changing their answers online because of not being able to confirm the second grade thing because they don't think they're
yeah, no,
second grader.
middle school, 7th grade.
Yeah, so it's seventh grader, not
Okay.
7-year-old.
Yeah.
So what is everyone voting, and what is your vote, Austin?
They're probably going to need a minute to recalibrate.
Okay.
'cause
What do
they're
you
all
think?
changed.
What do you think?
I got to go with the Maya Angelou story being a lie. As much as or Angelou, as cool as that would be, I don't think
I
that.
still think it's my Angelo.
Yeah, I do too. But
I've only ever heard Maya Angelou until we were at this table.
well,
See, Lara knows.
Lara.
Oh my God, Jessica's gonna stroke out.
No, how did you say you spell it?
Lara. It's like bar or car or star or far or tar.
Okay.
That was just fucking perfect.
Okay, so what is your vote on Alicia's story?
I think that the second story is a lie just because it's so simple, and
So you believe she went into Maya Angelou's purse
I think she went into Maya Angelou's purse. Yes, I do.
and called up
And
the
I
Oprah
know
network?
that I know that I read on her website when I was researching her for this show that the whole show that she said she was pitching, it's true.
I believe that. I believe she might have pitched to the OWN network. But when she said that she went into the phone and got Oprah's phone number, she said something along the lines of like right after, and now I got a meeting with OWN or something like that. But then you said,
And
well,
she
when
said
did
it
she
was
die?
8 years ago.
Yeah, 8 years ago. But right before she said 8
So-
years ago, she said, now I got a meeting
So
with
they
OWN.
really are backed up over at OWN.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a while. It takes some appointments, yeah.
Huh. All right, Michael Evans, what do you think?
To me, this is a no-brainer. It seems like such a normal, regular, realistic story.
And
the
Michael did
second
really
one.
good on the first
Hey, fuck
story. So.
off. Yeah.
So-
Yeah, tell us about this
I-
no-brainer.
I just don't think that it seems so reasonable and true that some seventh graders went and watched 8 hours of their favorite
Yeah.
movie and got a ride home, rather
Yeah.
than you getting in and jacking that number
Yeah.
out of that purse. That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go first story's a lie, based on that logic.
Okay, what about you, Lara?
I think that the first story is the lie.
Why?
I think everything is true, except I think that she stole the cookies and not the phone number out of the purse. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, the story could be based in reality.
The second
first
story, you got I could see emotion when you were telling it. Like I could tell that you were emotionally. It seemed like you were emotionally connected
Nothing
to it.
happened to him.
You mean like how you teared up
but
when you were
you
talking
still-
about the guy?
Remember how you teared up when you fucking talked about how you
That was so fucking weird.
Ladies, let's not get catty about our experience.
It's not getting catty.
Yeah.
the second one just sound I don't know. It sounded real, and the first one sounded like it was ridiculous. What do you want from me?
Okay.
Yeah, Lindsay said the first one is a Maya Angelou. So
Fair enough.
Who makes up a story about Maya Angelou?
You do, my friend.
I think that you were
do.
on a plane with her. I think you got bumped up to first class, and she was like right
I
there,
agree.
and you're like,
yes,
oh, damn,
yes,
that's Maya
yes.
Angelou.
I think part of that story, like 3/4 of that story, is based in
I
reality.
bet you even talked to her and told her that
Yeah.
you were a fan and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But whoever I'm most obsessed with in the world, Robin Williams, Philip Seymour Hoffman. If I'd ever had the chance to talk with them, I don't care what they were saying. Like I would listen to whatever they had to say if it bored me to death, to tears. So I think that that you wouldn't be so offended
She
by
said
a
she
long
was a
drawn
big
out story.
fan, not her greatest fan.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, where were you flying to?
Atlanta.
It's a long flight.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
where all African Americans
Yeah.
go.
I was gonna say Tyler Perry lives there, and
All
Maya
right,
Angelou's
so
friend.
you're saying that
Second story's a lie.
you believe the Maya Angelou story?
I do.
Wow.
I think Alicia's got balls,
Thank you.
and she would do that shit.
Yeah. I think she got balls, but I don't that
having
fucking
balls.
boomerang of a story. I think that first story is a lie. I think it's just not that clean. But maybe I think a lot of that's based in reality, but I think the crux of the story is a lie.
and
It's
you
the
thought
first story.
the first story was a lie too.
All right.
Fancy words. The crux.
This would be a horror movie, The Crux.
So which one is the lie?
Which one is the lie?
Oh.
I wish I could go back in time and do a drum roll for mine.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Okay. The lie is story number 1.
Yes, yeah. I can't
Come on,
believe
we
I
knew
got
better.
2 and 2. I got 2.
Way to go.
Wow, wow, wow.
Don't get all too happy with yourself.
Wow. Oh my God, you guys! I had so much fun. I started crying. I was laughing so hard. So
And
thank
because
you
you're
so
emotional.
much.
And because you
And I was
remembered the time
emotional
that you
about
pooped
taking a
front
shit
the
in
kid
front of
with
the.
cerebral palsy.
Yes. Which I've told no one but you guys.
You probably cured him.
I will never see you and not bring that up.
Okay, good. And I'll bring up the souvenir factory. Oh, I'll bring up the truancy,
somebody.
which might trump the shitting in front of the cerebral palsy patient. Not by much, but a little. You guys have been awesome guests. Where can people find you? What do you got coming up that people would be interested in, or just that you want to throw out there?
Oh, I'm going to be on Lights Out on October 9th. I'm going to be on the panel.
Cool.
Lights Out with David Spade on Comedy Central.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Very
awesome.
funny.
You can find me on
Congratulations.
Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Lara Beitz, LaraBeitz.
Did you ever do Groundlings or UCB or
No.
anything? No. I followed you for some reason well before I moved out here, like 3 years ago. I was telling Felicia on the way because when I saw your
Okay.
I saw your picture
Okay.
on our thing, I was like, oh,
It was
she's so familiar.
heartwarming in the car, but now it's kind of creepy.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to take
Isn't that weird?
off.
Okay.
And here we are.
Well, I hope
Here
people
we
do
are.
follow and keep
My
up
mind's
on
blown,
Lara
Michael.
because she's a very funny lady. And congratulations to all the wonderful things that are coming your way.
Thank you.
Well deserved, well deserved. And what about you, Alicia?
I'm going to be taping a stand-up show in Chicago next month that I just found out about for a streaming platform.
Oh, nice.
And I just finished. I always wanted to direct a narrative. So last year, I knew no one would let me direct. So I decided I was going to have to write my own project. So I wrote and directed a psychological thriller called Trade. And we just finished it. And I just submitted it to Sundance last night because the deadline is tonight. So, that's hard, basically impossible to get into. But I also submitted it to 20 other festivals, 10 in just the LA area. So my short film called Trade I'm going to start doing some screenings of it, and all of you guys will be invited.
Would love
And
it.
the acting performances, the actors gave me so much. And you realize just how much you can take a horrible script with great actors and make it great, but you can take a great script with shitty actors and it's all over with. these actors did their thing. So, I mean, I'm just so excited that my movie's done.
Well, congratulations. And by
Thank
the way,
you.
you never know about Sundance. I was an assistant director on Mitch Hedberg's feature film, and he cold submitted that, and that got selected,
Wow.
which was a great
Was
learning
he already
lesson.
a celebrity at the
No,
time?
no.
Okay.
He was like just a feature act at that time. Yeah.
And he got
so
selected.
and it got selected. So you never know.
Okay.
Anything is possible. And congratulations
Wow,
for
well,
that.
Thank
You're
you.
very, very
Thank
welcome.
you.
Blessings.
Yes.
Oh my God, I've missed you, Jessica. All right, and how about you, Michael Evans? What do you got shaking?
I'm just gonna tell you to follow my Instagram at High Five Michael and watch for our live dates for Liars Club at the Ice House at the Comedy Store. If you're in LA,
September
come out.
25th is the next one.
Yes.
September
Yeah.
25th, baby.
Wait, there's gonna be weed giveaways.
And Tim Dillon's going to be
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
fuck
Gallo
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a fun show. Please, if you're in Los Angeles, give us a check out. What about you, Austin? What do you got shaking?
Oh, 1 second. I'm just unfollowing Laura, unfollowing Alicia.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
at-
Can you tell people to follow me on Instagram at Alicia Cooper 2, ALYCIA
What the
Cooper
fuck?
2. Thank you. And unfollow Laura.
Lara.
I'm at the Austin Walker on everything. Follow us, IG, the Liars Club 1, Twitter, Liars_Club. And like Michael said, September 25th, be here at the Belly Room. And it's the later show, right? 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Not 8 p.m. like last time, 10 p.m. this
right.
time. And then again, October 29th. So
And do us a big favor. Go to our YouTube page. We are separate from the Comedy Store. Even though we stream live on the Comedy Store's YouTube, we do like to clean up the episodes and put them on our own YouTube. Please follow us there. If you are in the mood to, we just made a new animation with Bert Kreischer. We're very happy and proud about that. And you can follow me at Felicia Michaels all across the board. Do me a favor. If you're a member of Amazon Prime, please go on Amazon Prime and go look up my documentary, Pervs. It has Felipe Esparza in it, Joey Diaz, Lori Kilmartin, all that kind of jazz. Did well in the film festival circuit, so that's why I'm happy for you. You're going to get
Wow.
into some stuff, I bet, and congratulations on that.
Thank
And
you.
and then follow me, Felicia Michaels, all across the board.
Please just like me, and I'm at Jess Wellington 2 on everything. And you,
Who's Jess Wellington 1?
some mommy and me bitch that
Aw.
like makes cookies and
she's hanging with Alicia
has a
Cooper
whole-
on.
Yeah.
I know, right?
she's got a whole cookie factory or something.
Send death threats to Jessica Wellington.
And you have been lied to.